Well, it's that time of year again, and this time we're doing things a little bit differently. Hey everyone, it's Rustbelt Collector here, and today we're taking a look at my top 10 pickups of 2025. Now, last year I did my top 10 new releases and my top 10 pickups throughout the year, and this year's been a little bit different. I haven't gotten as many new items, and I've gotten a few older items that may have been released in previous years. So for this year and this video, we are just doing my top 10 pickups overall. Most of them were from 2025, but a few might be from 2024, or in one instance, definitely older than 2025. Now this Mafex Clone Trooper doesn't quite make the top 10 list, but it was really awesome, and so I'd consider this an honorable mention. This was sent over to me by Plaza Japan, and yeah, they were kind enough to sponsor some content here, with this Clone Trooper being among those sponsorships. But yeah, definitely a contender for top 10, but not quite there. It's an amazing figure, love the articulation. If you're interested, I'll pin the video in this video. In one of my more recent videos, I explained how I was getting into Warhammer and had started down the Joy Toy Warhammer line pipeline. And yeah, of the figures I picked up this year, this one is definitely my favorite. This is the Blade Guard veteran for the Ultramarines. Joy Toy has just done such an incredible job of mastering the bulky armored space character with full range of motion, articulation, and detail at a reasonable price as well. With these figures being like in the $25 to $35 range for the most part, of course there's some exceptions, I really cannot complain. This figure is awesome. It's my favorite of the ones I've picked up this year, and I'm definitely picking up more. I believe this might be one of the older body molds, and so yeah, they're just continually improving the sculpting and just articulation, detail, paint apps. So yeah, the Blade Guard veteran definitely makes it into my top 10 here, and I would love to see more of these figures. If I pick up more in the new year, I will definitely do reviews on them. I absolutely love this Joy Toy line, and even if you're just a fan of silly space guys in armor, I'd recommend just picking up one of these, you know, just for the fun of it, trying out the articulation. They pose super great, they look super cool. You don't have to be into Warhammer to appreciate a really cool action figure. Now I'm counting these next two as sort of a 2-for-1 deal. This is the Vintage Collection Ahsoka Clone Trooper, and this is the Power Force Captain Rex. They count as a similar comparison here because they're both 3 3/4 inch. I don't feel like they deserve a single spot for each of them, but they're both really incredible figures. This one doesn't have a ton of new stuff here. It is just the Andor mold with a really nice non-removable helmet here for the Phase 1 Clone Trooper, with some very nice detailing that mimics exactly one of the costumes from Ahsoka. And then this Captain Rex is an example of Hasbro returning to form with budget figures. This figure was under $10 at retail, and I just hope that they continue to do this Power Force line. This figure is exceptionally good. It's got good articulation, although limited, good paint apps, good sculpting detail, in fact, great sculpting detail. And as you can see, side by side with a more articulated figure like Vintage Collection, it scales very nicely, almost perfectly. Both of these figures were a real treat to see in 2025. I'm really excited for 2026 with the gunship drop, as well as many other figures that will go along with it. And I'm hoping that Power Force just keeps going. Give us more Clone Troopers. If they've got the sculpting, they've got the tooling, and they sold pretty well on Amazon, let's see some more. Let's see some shiny Clone Troopers in that line. And the same goes for this one here. This sculpt is very nice, and with the new gunship coming out, we really need to see all of the different officers as well as some plain Clone Troopers released on this body mold with this helmet mold. Now for this next one, I will be taking 0 questions. This choice is really 6 figures in one, but it is the GameStop exclusive Noble Team from the Jazwares Spartan collection. Now yes, these figures are all technically repaints and repacks, but all 6 of these figures make it on my list for various reasons. The main ones being they all are improved upon from their original release. They have improved paint deco and decals across their entire figure line, and also their joints are improved. The ones that were extremely wobbly in previous iterations are now rock solid at the joints, and we love to see it. Noble Team is incredible, and I love to see them getting their due justice from Jazwares here. The set is absolutely amazing, and check out my longer form content for that entire pack unboxing. But another reason that these figures make it on the list is because this was my first official brand crossover with GameStop. They were kind enough to send me that set over and have been doing other brand deals with me in the future, and it was a huge honor as a smaller content creator to be trusted with these products from GameStop and getting to talk about characters and products like the Jazwares Spartan collection that I am extremely passionate about. It just all lined up so perfectly this year that I could not be happier. Now I know it may feel like a little bit of a cop-out to put a Hot Toys figure on a top 10 list, but it has to make it on here because it is just my list after all. These are just my favorite pickups from the year, and I've picked up figures as small as 3 3/4 inch with a $10 price tag, and figures as large as 12 inches like this one with a much, much bigger price tag. So for my favorites, I wanted to be honest, and I can't help but love the Airborne Trooper. This is a Clone Trooper armor design I've been waiting for in Hot Toys for a long time. I almost got to the point where I was just going to knuckle down and buy the Sideshow version, but here we are. We have the best version of the Airborne Trooper we've ever gotten. It even has accurate weathering and scarring, just like the 3D renders from Revenge of the Sith. The carbon scoring here is just absolutely stunning. Real fabric and leather being used here for the different pauldrons and straps is incredible. He's got his little medic bag there, or I guess airborne bag, whatever you want to think it might be. A tattered and worn Kama here as well, and just, I don't know, this figure just speaks to me on so many different levels. The biggest one being Revenge of the Sith being where my love for Clone Troopers was really born, and yeah, this is one of those designs that came out of that movie. It was released by Hasbro in 3 3/4 inch, and I had it pretty early on, so a lot of memories were formed around Clone Troopers, and specifically Revenge of the Sith Clone Troopers. So when Hot Toys releases them in this premium detail, it's hard not to just love them. Now there will be another Hot Toys figure on this list, but I'm trying to break things up a little bit. It's not in any particular order. This is just my favorite top 10. So I want to just get that out of the way as well. There's not going to be really necessarily a number 1 slot because these figures all have spoken to me on different levels throughout the year, and one can't really outrank the other because they're all just different and they're great in different ways, and I appreciate them for different things. So yeah, these are just the figures that made 2025 awesome when it comes to my toy collection and different goals for the channel, like the GameStop situation. That was just such an incredible experience. I just could not imagine a version of me a year ago getting sent product from GameStop, and yeah, that's just a huge milestone for the channel, and so things like that are hard to gauge in a 1 to 10 scale. Next up is another 2 for 1 slot here. I just felt like these were, again, characters and figures that didn't really need their own spot and worked really well together. So this is 1 slot right here. Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. I love these vintage collection figures. The detail and the face sculpt here is just absolutely stunning. Now, personally for me, Andor is the best Disney series that they have ever done, and probably some of the best Star Wars content we've ever seen. But as a runner-up, in terms of character development, these two are very, very interesting characters. It's so sad that the actor who plays Baylan has passed away because he's genuinely so talented and just brings a certain air to the character. On screen, he's imposing and sinister, but also brings a interesting wisdom and mystery to the mysteries of the Force. I'm glad they've gone the route of recasting so that we can still fulfill that storyline in Ahsoka Season 2, and I'm really glad that Vintage Collection did these figures justice. We've struggled a long time to get a good Clone Trooper sculpt, but thankfully on the first try, they really nailed the sculpting for these two. Now, it really wouldn't be a Rustbelt top 10 if it didn't have some sort of bootleg Clone Trooper on it, and here we have the AliExpress Vales Toy JOV 3.0 body mold, and it's my favorite Clone Trooper Legion from the Clone Wars. Originally they did Doom's Legion on this body mold, but then they dropped the Commando Security, and this has always been my favorite Clone Wars design, especially for Phase 2. Of course, Hasbro did release this on the very first iteration of their 2.0 body mold, but boy was that a rough release with the helmets being completely marshmallow mush, and yeah, this is just everything I would have wanted out of that character design. And now, thanks to Vales Toys, I now have my favorite Dream Clone Trooper on what is essentially the Dream Clone Trooper body mold. This is the articulation we could only dream of having on a Black Series figure. And maybe someday they will achieve that, but until such time as that comes to pass, we have this from a bootleg company doing a lot more work in realizing the Clone Trooper designs that we all ask for and just never receive. I'm hopeful for new releases in 2026. There are rumors that they're going to use their ARC Trooper mold to give us Rancor Battalion, and hopefully that means more canon clone trooper design. I hope they return to form a little bit, start doing more characters that are canon or legends and less of the fan designs. Those can be slipped in every now and then, but at their price point, I really am only going to be picking and choosing the clones that are absolutely my favorite. If they did a Commander Thorn or a Phase 2 Commander Fox, or again, you know, a Camino Security Commander, things like that that are actually from the series that we love and Hasbro will likely never do, that's when they'll get my money. I may not spend $30 per figure on, you know, some fan-designed shock trooper or something like that. Much as I love those character designs, I really want the ones that are from the show or from the movies that we just haven't seen yet. And we might as well get the other bootleg clone trooper out of the way. This is from another AliExpress bootleg clone trooper company, Steam Toys. And this is Captain Hound, or Commander Hound, Sergeant Hound, I can't remember. I think it's Sergeant Hound. But anyways, this is one of the most detailed clone troopers they have done yet, and as you can kind of see by the base paint, they also did Camino Security. It was a little bit underwhelming, some of their Camino Security designs, so those don't really make it here on the top 10 list, but this Sergeant Hound is absolutely stunning. The helmet detail is all there, the shoulder decal is really nice and crisp, and this figure looks incredible. I don't love that they use the old 3 3/4 inch camo skirt here, but it gets the job done, and the rest of the deco and sculpting looks incredible, so I'll give it a pass. I never would have dreamed they would go out and do a Sergeant Hound, let alone Hot Toys now doing it, which I'm very excited for that figure as well. But yeah, this is such an incredible 3 3/4 inch figure. I love having it in the collection, and I'm again hopeful that these bootleg companies continue to do the work of making very nice figures that Hasbro never will. Hopefully though, they'll swap out these old vintage collection hands for some newer ones, because if they can charge basically retail price for these, they can improve the sculpting. Now this next one comes from a company that I don't necessarily know that I've talked about on the channel here, but this Mythic Legion Knight, I don't even know his name. He came in a 2-pack with an orc, and it is just such a phenomenal figure. I've picked up a few different Mythic Legions over the years, as well as some of their Cosmic Legions, and these figures are just stunning. I love some high fantasy knights and orcs and things like that. And yeah, when I'm in the mood for it and I need a figure in my collection, Mythic Legions are the ones I go for. And this one is just so beyond anything that I've handled from them before. Fully equipped with helmet and sword and battle axe. This figure is just really awesome. I love it. He's even got interchangeable helmet accessories that give him like a lion's helmet mask, as well as some hair accessories in the back. Those I think are in storage right now. Otherwise, I would love to show them here. But this figure is absolutely stunning. If you've not ever handled a Mythic Legion figure and you're a fan of like high fantasy and medieval knights, I definitely recommend picking up at least one. Some of them can be quite affordable, especially like their army builder models. They have wired tunics, which allow for some really sweet posability, and just everything about them is amazing. This one with a more classic knight look and the vibrant blue tunic just really spoke to me, and I have had nothing but fun posing it on my desk ever since. Yes, the camera is in a heightened position because we gotta talk about another Hot Toys on this list. We just got to talk about Greor. This figure is so incredible. I love the Hot Toys Commando mold, even though it has its animated issues, but Scorch made it on my last top 10, and honestly I think Greor blows Scorch out of the water. This figure is so detailed with the camouflage and vibrant blues, and even down to, of course, the light-up visor, which I absolutely love on this figure. I just could not help myself in putting him on the list here. Again, the deco wins this one over for me, and this is probably the only version of Greor we will ever see in figure form. He just has such a complex figure design, I don't think Hasbro will ever try to tackle him. The time to do it was back in the 2008 era with the Clone Wars molds, and yeah, I think we're past that. So this version from Hot Toys is the only version we will probably ever see, and I love it. The detail's amazing, the articulation is what you'd expect from a Hot Toys figure, but yeah, this is just such an iconic character from my childhood, and it's just been realized in such an incredible way from Hot Toys. I know that not everyone loves the animated armor style, and I do have my issues with it, but I have to give it a pass when they're doing characters like this. The helmet looks great, the armor is passable, and then yeah, they're doing Greor. I just can't be mad at them doing Greor. And to be quite honest, I think if they hadn't done Greor and instead this year did Fixer or Sev, one of those probably would have been on this list as well. I just really like Clone Troopers from Hot Toys, And I kind of have gone back on my word about not liking the animated armor. It's kind of grown on me. And yeah, unfortunately for 2 years running now, a Hot Toys animated realistic mashup clone Commando has been on my top 10 list. Alrighty, we're down to our last pick for 2025, and this one comes with a little bit of a story. I have been after this specific LEGO minifigure for quite some time, and unfortunately the prices have just been astronomically high. Earlier this year, I found a Facebook Marketplace listing for a LEGO lot that looked like it had some large dark gray wheels in it. And those can only come from one set, the 2005 Clone Turbo Tank. And that's when I got this figure. For like $100 for the whole tote of Legos, I got this figure along with many, many others. But this has been on my list for a very long time. When I was a kid, I had one of these and sadly traded it away, never got it back. I've regretted it ever since. And this is one that I've just been after for so long. And the prices have just gotten too incredibly high. I wasn't willing to pay the $80 or $90 for this one minifigure, and so I was able to get it out of a lot of LEGO on Facebook Marketplace of all places. These early 2005 Clone Troopers, where they're reusing old Scout Trooper helmets and just have a much more limited paint deco style and color palette, are some of my all-time favorites. I nearly have a complete collection of the 2005 Clone Troopers, and this one puts me one step closer to having that, this one being definitely the coolest. If I could, I'd go back in time and buy probably 10 of these and just have them in a little army build because I love them that much. I think in one of my videos for 2024, I listed this minifigure among my Grail pickups for 2025, like figures I hoped to pick up this year, and lo and behold, I actually accomplished this one. I don't think any of the other figures on that list made it into my collection this year, but I'm very pleased that this one did, and that's good enough for me. But anyways, that is my top 10 picks for 2025, including new releases as well as old releases that I just happened to pick up in 2025. This was a really solid year for figure releases, definitely some great ones that came out this year, and definitely some good additions to the collection that may have not come out this year, but are definitely appreciated to be added to the Rustbelt collection. Like I said, I just didn't focus as much on getting new releases this year as I have in the past, and so it was harder to really narrow down, and so it was kind of hard to get to a top 10, and I decided to just mix and mash all the ones together, all my pickups, all the new releases, and it just made this a lot more enjoyable to film and record. Maybe next year, new releases will have their own video and pickups will have a second video, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm excited for what's to come in 2026, the Republic Gunship, so many new figure releases from Jazwares, Joy Toy, and many, many more. Of course, this is just my biased opinion. These are just the ones that I subjectively appreciated this year, and I'd love to hear down in the comments what your top 10 picks have been for this year, whether it's releases or pickups you just added to your collection. Either way, let me hear from you down in the comments. I always love to hear what y'all are collecting these days. As the year draws to a close, I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who takes the time to watch my videos and support my channel. It means the world to me. So I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. I hope that you have a wonderful new year and just are able to achieve everything you're hoping to in those new months. But anyways, that is where we are wrapping up this video. So as always, have a wonderful evening, noon, or night, depending on when you're watching this video, of course. Be kind to one another, and I will catch you all in the next one.